Hi friends, greetings to everyone. Welcome to Tamil Pravan channel. In this video, we are going to see the basic concepts of Python. Hope this tutorial is very helpful to beginners to learn from scratch. Even if you are already known about Python, this will be very useful for fleshing up the concepts. This tutorial is designed in such a way that beginners can understand the concept super easily. Okay, let us enter into the tutorial with fact and usage of Python. What is Python? The Python is a high-level and general-purpose programming language. Python was created in late 1980s and first released in 1991 by Guido van Ransom. Periodically, Python is getting updated its version. Now, recently, Python 3.0 is released in 2008. But this language is not completely compatible with much Python 2 version code. And another interesting fact is that according to the survey in January 2021, the Python ranks third in TIOBE programming community index of the most popular programming languages. Okay, let's see about applications. Python expands its application on a wide areas like automation, data analytics, database, documentation, graphical user interface, image processing, machine learning, mobile application, multimedia, computer networking, scientific computing, system administration, test frameworks, text processing, web frameworks, and web scraping. Let's get started. To get started with Python, we need the following items. The first one is Python software. You can download the Python software from the below mentioned website. And IDE, Integrated Development Environment. This is an optional, but if you are a beginner, it could be very useful to code a program in Python. Here I am using PyCharm for a IDE. For IDE, you can download from the below mentioned web page, or you can use a Python compiler over online. Let's start with basic rule. To start with the basic rule, we need to know about indentation. The indentation is nothing but adding space before a statement. Let me show an example with the code. For example, if I am doing stat state equal to on if state equal to on print hi friends. Let's run the code. Here there will be no indentation error. Okay, likewise I will type another statement like print this Again, there will be no error. Here I will write the error code, like to reproduce an indentation error. Here I am unnecessarily left two spaces and start adding the statement. See, here the code is exit with indentation error, unexpected indentation. It shows the error at line number 5. And because of here we use a two space which is unnecessarily. Here I will fix it and run the code again. Now the code will pass. This shows the how indentation error could be occur. Okay. The next basic rule is usage of colon. In Python, we use the colon in two ways. One, to indicating the code block. Another one is slicing. Here, I'm using the if statement, if block. Here, the colon represents the end of the if statement, means end of the if block. If I remove this, it will be a syntax error. Let me show the syntax error. See, here it shows the syntax error with invalid syntax. Now I am again fix and run the code again. Now the error gone. Okay. Next one is comments in Python. In Python, we use the command by using an hash character. By using this hash character, we comment the statements, or we can feed the comments. Whenever the Python compiler or Python software reads hash symbol, it will ignore the statement. Let me show an example. Here I am adding a command with hash statement. This is command line. See, if I run the code, it will not take it to compile. If I remove this, Python software will show this is an error. This is an error. So whenever if we want to comment, we need to use a hash statement. Likewise, if we no need of these print statement, we can use comment to ignore this line. Here is another example showing the comment. This is the comment line. If the hash statement is used inside the double quotes, then it will not consider as a comment line. Let me show an example. Text and text equal to see, here the hash is not considered as a comment because we declared inside the double quotes, which means it is a string. Next step is we learn how to create a variable. The Python has no command to declaring a variable. As like other programming languages, we need to use a syntax for declaring a variable. But in Python, we have no command or syntax to declare a variable. Here, a variable is created at the moment you assign a value to it, very first value to it. Let me show an example. Creating a variable. Here, I will create a variable with my int equal to 5, and I am declaring another variable called string, my string 1 equal to Praveen, my string 2 equal to Tamal. Whenever I declare or whenever I assign a value to a variable, the Python will automatically declare. Let me show with running the example. See, suppose if I comment this my int and using the my print at somewhere else, it will show an error saying that the error name my int is not defined, which means I am not defining the variable before, but I am using it. Now the error is gone. Okay. The another example, let me show. The example shows assigning a multiple values to a variable. Using a separator a, b, c, I am assigning a value called orange, banana and cherry to the variables a, b and c respectively. Here I print a, b and c, and it stores the values of orange, banana and cherry. Okay. Let me show another example. Assigning one values to multiple variables. Here I am assigning a same value to multiple variables. Like I am assigning a value 5 to the different variables like a, b and c. Okay. Let me print the variable and show the output. Yes, the value 5 is assigned to all the variables a, b and c. Okay. Here we learned to create a variable. Next one is data type. As like other programming languages, Python also having a data type like Boolean data type, text data type or string data type, and numeric data type and collection data type. The collection data type consists of list, tuples, set and dictionary. Under numerical data type, int, float, complex and Boolean we can add. In a text data type, we can use a string data type. In a Boolean, we can use a Boolean data type like true or false. Let's see with each one. The data type Boolean. A Boolean data type represents one of two values like true or false. Here I show an example to check the conditions whether the 10 is greater than 9 and 10 is equal to 9 and 10 is lesser than 9. In this, the first statement is true, which means 10 is greater than 9. So the output is printed as true. It is a boolean value. The true means 1. The another statement is I am checking with 10 is equal to 9, which means a false. It return a value called false, the boolean value 0, which means false. The another one is 10 is lesser than 9. Again, it falls under to a false category. Let me show some other examples. Sorry, I have to print the variable my var true. Likewise, we can store as false. Where one see the true and false. Here the true and false is the T and F is case sensitive. If we entered with a smaller t, it will show an error. It show an error. The true is not defined, which means true is we have to declare true with capital T and followed by RUE in small. Okay. Another data type is string. The string in Python are surrounded either in a single quotation mark or a double quotation mark. Here is an example. I am assigning a string variable, a string to a variable name1 with Tamil in double quotes. In another variable, the name2, I am loading a string value Praveen in single quotes. How it displays is like this. We can use a string values in either by indicating a single quotation or by means of double quotation marks. The another data type is numbers. There are three numerical types in Python. One is int, float, and complex. Here is an example showing how I am declaring a different type of numbers to a variable. Here in x, I am assigning a value 1, and for y, I am assigning a float value 2.8, and for z, I am loading an complex number, for example 1j, and it displays with saying this is the variable x is a class of int, the variable y is a class of float, the variable z is class of complex numbers. Next one is typecasting. Let me show an example how do we do a typecasting. Okay. Here I am assigning a integer value of 5 to the x. Now I'm converting the integer value into a float with a method called float. Print x. Here it printing with integer value, and again I am print with float of x. Let's see. Here it prints with an integer value, and here I am doing a type conversion or typecasting. I am casting the x integer to a float by using a float method. The float is an inbuilt method. By using this, I am typecasting the integer to float. Likewise, we can x equal to float of x. This is another way, and I am converting the float to an imaginary, like means the complex number. Complex of x, and again do print x, and I run a code, and this is a complex number with imaginary values. The random number. To generate a random number, the Python doesn't have a method random. Instead, it has a module called random. By using this module, we can generate a random numbers. Let's see how to import the modules. Here I import a method called, or a module or library called random. And then print there is some error. There is no attribute called random range. Okay, sorry, rand range. Okay. Here the value is print between 2 and 10. Each time when I run, it generates a new number. Now it generates 5. Now it generates 8. Now it generates 5 again. 9. 4. Likewise, it generates the random number between 9 to 10. Now I am defining a range between 2 to 100. If we run, the random number will generate between 2 and 100. Okay. Let's see about operators. The operators are used to perform a mathematical operation on variables and values. The Python has the following operators: arithmetic operators, assignment operators, comparison operators, logical operators, identity operators, membership operators, and bitwise operators. Let's see one by one. Arithmetic operation. By using this numeric values to perform a common mathematical operations. Here we can use addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, modulus, exponent and floor divisions. Let me show an example. Here I am declaring a variable var equal to 10, 1 equal to 10, var 2 equal to 5. With this, let me do an arithmetic operation. Print var 1 plus var 2, which means 10 plus 5 equal to 15, and then print var 1 minus var 2. Now the value is get subtracted from variable 1 to variable 1. The value subtracted from variable 1 and variable 2. It shows the difference. If you want to do a multiplication, print var 1 asterisk, this is a multiplication symbol, and var 2. Here 10 into 5 equal to 50. To perform a division operation, print var 1 divided by var 2, okay, 2.0. Okay. The division operation always returned with a floating number. If we want to print without a floating number, we need to use print var 1 to var 2. If we use double division, it will float the value like 2. Okay. If we want to perform a modulo operation, print var 1 modulo of var 2. Say the output is 0. This was the arithmetic operations. And again, assignment operations. With assignment operation, we can assign a values to variables. Like here, what we do, let me show a new example, which var equal to var equal to 5, which means the 5 is assigned to a variable called var. Likewise, if you want to add var plus equal to 5, what happens is it does var plus 5. This is the equivalent operation for plus equal to 5. Let me print the variable. Sorry, here var. See here the value for the var is 5, and again I am adding 5 to the existing number, the existing value, which means var equal to var plus 5. When I did the same again, it add 5 to the previous number. Likewise, the other operators can be used for an assignment. This is a comparison operator. This is to compare two numbers, whether the two numbers is equal or not equal, or greater than or less than, or greater than or equal to, or less than or equal to. This is an logical operator. This is used to combine a conditional statement like x is lesser than 5 and x is lesser than 10. It checks if both conditions are true, or here the x is lesser than 5 or x is lesser than 4. Here it checks whether x is lesser than 5 or x is lesser than 4. It checks if any one of the condition is true, it results with a true value. Likewise for not. The not operation is it inverts the results. This is an identity operator. This is used to compare the objects. The operator is used to compare whether the value is present in the object or not. Likewise, is not is check whether the value is not present in the object. The another operator is membership. This is used to test if a sequence is present in an object. This is same as the identity. This is a bitwise operator. This is used to compare binary numbers. The data type. The data type collection. There are 4 collection data type in Python programming. They are list, tuples, set and dictionary. The list is a collection which is ordered and changeable. It does not allow a duplicate numbers. Let's see a one by one. Here the list. The list are array. The list are used to store a multiple item in a single variable. The list are created using square brackets. The list item are ordered, changeable and allow duplicate values. Here is an example how to create a list. Here the variable myList is declared as a list by using a square brackets. Inside a square brackets, it can store multiple items. Here I am showing an example to store as string items like apple, banana and cherry, and I have printed the list. This is the result which shows in a right hand side saying apple, banana and cherry are a list item. If it is a list item, it represents with square bracket. Let's see more examples on a list data type. Here I have added the examples for list data type. Here I declare the list data type by using a square bracket and print the myList. Yes, here the value is printed. I run the data type list. my list items are printed: apple, banana and cherry. We saw that the list will allow a duplicate value. This is an example to allow a duplicate values. Here with my list I have added apple as an item once again. The apple is already present in the list even though I have added a duplicate entry of apple. Let's see what it happens. Yes. Here I allowed a duplicate value of apple and this is the print: apple, banana, cherry and apple once again. Okay, then to identify the length of my list, here we can use length keyword to get the length. Here in my list I have 4 items. To get the length, here I am using a function called len, length. When I use this, it printed as the length of my list is 4. Okay, another example. A list can contain different data type. The list can have the different data types like string, this is a float, this is a boolean, this is an integer, and again this is a string. Let me print the value. For easy understand, I will comment out the above one. I will print again. Okay. See, it is a string, it is a float, the boolean data type, and this is an integer data type, and again this is a string data type. It shows that the list can contain a different data type. As already said, the list can also used as an array. To using as an array, we can use the following methods. The method called append. Append is used to add an element at the end of the list, and clear, it removes all the elements from the list, and copy returns a copy of the list. Likewise, we have the number of functions here. You can do an train, you can try with the different methods. Here I use a function called append. Here I am adding a caret to the list. To the list apple, banana and cherry, I am adding a caret to the list. Let's see what the output is. Let me comment out this one. Yes, now it get added. Apple, banana, cherry and carrot. If I want to remove or clear my list, I have to use my list dot clear and print my list. See, this shows an empty list, which means the clear function clears all the items in the my list. Our next data type is tuple. The tuple are used to store a multiple item in a single variable. The tuples are written with a round brackets. The tuple items are ordered, unchangeable, and allow duplicate values. Let's see about a tuples in an example. The tuples. Here I declare a tuples with a round bracket. In this I have added an items like apple, banana and cherry to the tuple. Let me run the code. Run data type tuples. Here it print apple, banana and cherry. The tuple allows a duplicate value as same as the list. Let me add an example. Here in my list, in my tuple list, apple, banana and cherry, I am adding a new item called banana, which is a duplicate. The banana is already available in the tuple, even though I have added a duplicate list. Let's see what's happened. See, apple, banana, cherry and banana. This is a duplicate entry. Likewise list, we can get a length of a tuple by using a length method, length function. See here in the tuple we have 4 items, 1, 2, 3, 4. So the length returns the value with 4. In tuple, the data types can be any data types. The items can be any data type. Example, in my tuple 1, I'm adding a string items like apple, banana, cherry. In another tuple, I'm adding an integer value like 1, 5, 7, 9, 3. In another tuple, I have added a boolean values like true, false and false. And I will print those tuples. Here I comment out these code. See here in tuple 1, apple, banana and cherry items are get printed, and in tuple 2, 1, 5, 7, 9, 8 is get printed. Sorry, 3. In tuple 3, true, false and false, the boolean the values are get printed. Likewise, a tuple can contain a different data types. Let me show an example. In a tuple, I had added different data types like string and complex number and boolean. This is an integer and again string. Like this, we can add a different data types to a tuple. The another data type under collection is sets. The sets are used to store multiple items in a single variable. The sets are unordered, unchangeable, and do not allow a duplicate entry, whereas in list and tuples, the duplicate entry can be possible, but in sets, the duplicate entry is not possible. Okay. Let's see the more examples on sets. Okay. Here I declare as sets by using a flower bracket. I run the data type sets. See, whenever we print a set data type, the it print with the square brackets. As we saw, the duplicate value will be ignored in the sets. Let's see. Here I have added a duplicate entry of apple to the existing one. Apple, banana, cherry, and apple. Here this is a duplicate entry. Let's see what happens. See, it ignores the duplicate entry. It shows the banana, cherry, and apple. It ignores a duplicate entry of apple. Even in sets, we can get a length by using a length method or length function. With this, we can get the length of the set, which means the number of items present in the set. Here the my list consists of 3 items. We see that the items are unordered, which means unordered means whenever we read the values from set or read the items from the set, it will returns a random items which are present in the list. The example here, this is an example. Here I run a for loop with the items present in the list. It returns the item value over X and I print the item here. See, whenever I run, the item will be changed. Now it shows with apple, banana, and cherry. Again I will run apple, cherry, banana. The previous is apple, banana, cherry, and again I will run banana, apple, and cherry, which means this is unordered. Whenever we read the value, it never returns with the order. It returns the value or returns the item with an unordered manner. And another data type under collection is dictionary. The dictionary is also used to store a data type, but in this case we use key and value to store the entries. Dictionary is a collection which is unordered, changeable, and does not allow a duplicate entry. This is same as a set. The set also not allow a duplicate entry. Here dictionary also not allows a duplicate entry. The dictionary are written with curly brackets and having a keys and values. This shows the examples of how to declare a dictionary. Let me see with more example. Okay. Here I have an example to create and print a dictionary value. Here I have declared a the variable with a key brand. For a key brand, I am storing a value Royal Enfield in a string. For a model, I have stored a value with Classic 350cc. Under year, I am storing a value, an integer value called 2018. Let me print the dictionary. Run data type dictionary. Here the dictionary values are printed with keys and corresponding values. The brand is Royal Enfield, model is Classic 350, and year is 2018. As we saw, the duplicate values will override the existing values in a dictionary. let me run the example. Yes, here the year, for the key year I'm overriding the value with 2021, which means it replaces the year 2018 with 2021. Let me run and see the values. Unexpected indentation error. Okay, see, this is the previous one. In previous one we entered the year as 2018, and here we did a duplicate entry to override a year. Here the year is override with 2021. Accessing a values with key. Here the dictionary can be accessed using a key values. For example, if we want to know the model in a dictionary, we just print the dictionary with the keyword. Here I'm printing with model. I'm getting the model value, the model item of my dictionary. It shows that the model is Classic 350 cc. If we want to know my dictionary here, what happened is here yes, here the year value is written with 2021. Okay, next we see about the control statement. The control statement, under control statement we have if conditions and if statements. The Python supports the usual logical combination from mathematics. It's used to check whether the two variables are equal or not equal, is lesser than or greater, or equal to, lesser than or equal to, or greater than or equal to. Likewise, we can control the statement. While loop. Oh, now we can see an example for this. Okay. Here, this is an if statement. Here I am assigning a variable with a value 33 and b with 200. Here I am checking that the b is greater than a. Yes, of course, the a is greater than b. Hence, this condition is satisfied and returned a true value. So, this print statement will executed and it print as b is greater than a. Okay, let me run the file. Run condition if else. Yes, the b is greater than a. The another one is elif, which means else if. Here we can check a two condition. one by one with the priorities. Here first I am checking that is A is greater than B, and if this is not satisfied, the control statement will check for another with elif, which means else if. If this else statement is not satisfied, it will check the other statement, other, with if. Here I am checking that A is equal to B. Yes, of course, here the A is equal to B because the A and B values are assigned with the same value. Okay, let me check by running this code. What happened is outline number. It shows an indentation error. Okay. Yes. This is the example for using elif. The another one is else. Here this example shows the usage of else. Here the A is assigned with 200, B is assigned with 33. Here it first check whether A is greater than, B is greater than A. Here no, the B is lesser than A, so this condition will not match. And again it will check for is A is equal to B. No, here A is not equal to B, so it skip this condition and check for the else, another one. Here else, which means if the two statements are not satisfied, it automatically goes to this branch called else. Here it comes and print A is greater than B. Okay, let me see the output. Yes, here the A is greater than B. Okay, next we check about nested if. Nested if is nothing but using an if statement inside an if. Okay. Here this is an example for nested if. Here the x is assigned with a value 400. Here I am checking that x is greater than 100. Yeah, yes, x is greater than 100. Yes, if this is true, then it will print the statement the above 10. The x is above 10. Yeah, yes. Again, inside the if, I will check x is greater than 200, or else I print that but not above to 200. Here it will check if x is greater than 200, or else if this condition is not matched, it will print the statement. This is the example for the nested if. Here the if, inside an if I am using another if statement which shows the nested if. Here this condition is satisfied, so it print above 10, and again the x is greater than 200, which means the 400 is greater than 200, so and also above 200. Okay. The next control statement is while loop. The while loop is used to execute a set of statement as long as a condition is true, which means here in a while loop it asks for a statement or condition. Here the while loop executes the same code until the value is satisfied. Yes, here is an example to show a basic while loop. Here I am assigning a variable I with value 1. Here I will check for a condition while I is lesser than 6, print the value of I, and again I am increment I with 1, which means it execute the print statement for 5 times, and if the I satisfied the value I is lesser than 6, it exit the while loop. Okay, let's see more examples on while loop. While loop. Okay. This is the condition. This is the example which shows for a basic while operation. I run this code. Here it print the value of I. Here the while is a keyword and this is a condition. Here it always check for a condition I is lesser than 6. First it will check is I is lesser than 6. Yeah, yes, the I is lesser than 6. So it proceed with executing the statement print of I. So it print a value of I. This is an initial value of I. The initial value of I is 1, so it print with value 1, and again the I is incremented with 1 and do the same operation. Now the value is 2. The value of I is 2. Is 2 is lesser than 6? Yeah, yes, 2 is lesser than 6. So it prints the value of I with value 2, and again increment with 1. Now the 2 is incremented to 3, and the while block again check the condition for I is lesser than 6, which means the 3 is lesser than 6. Yes, the 3 is lesser than 6, so it print the value of I. Likewise it keep on incrementing, and at one stage the value of I reaches 5. Is 5 is lesser than 6? Yeah, yes, of course the 5 is lesser than 6. So it print the value of I as 5 and again increments the variable I with 1. Now the value of I is 6. Now the while loop, the while block or while loop checks is I lesser than 6, which means the 6 is lesser than 6. No, the 6 is not lesser than 6. So it terminates this while loop and comes back. Okay. The another usage of while loop with break statement. Here the break is used to stop the loop even if the while condition is true. Yes. Here is an example to check the break statement under while. Here I is assigned with value 11 and while of I is lesser than 20, and print the value of I. here I check the value of I. If I is equal to 12, then break. The break, which means it skip the execution and go back to the initial, go back to the while loop to proceed the next step. Let's see how it works. See, here the initial value of I is 11. First, the while statement, the while loop check is 11 is lesser than 20. Yeah, yes, the 11 is lesser than 20. So it print the value of I. And again it check if I is equal to 12. Now I is not equal to 12. And then this condition is not matched, so it execute I plus equal to 1, which means it increments the value of I with 1. Undo the same operation. Again here it check I is lesser than 20. Now the value of I is 12, so yes, the 12 is lesser than 20, so it print the value I. Now it check if I is equal to 20. Yes, the 12 is equal to, sorry, if I is equal to 12. Yeah, yes, the value of I is now 12, so 12 is equal to 12. So this condition is matched, so it executes the break statement. Whenever it executes the break statement, it comes out of the while. So see, it actually it is supposed to run for 10 times, but here due to this condition it ran only for 2 times and exit the while loop. This is the example of break statement under while. Okay, let's see the usage of continue in while statement. The continue can stop the current iteration and continues the next step, whereas the break, it terminates the or it stops the while loop whenever the condition is true. But in case of continue, it skips or continue the it skips the only the current iteration and continues to the next iteration. Let's see with an example. Here I am assigning a value of I equal to 0 and I is lesser than or equal to 0, and this is an if statement to check the condition of I. If I is matches with the condition, I will do the continue and here the print the value of I. Let me check the code. Yes, and initially the I is assigned with a value 0. In while loop, the I is checking the condition that I is lesser than 6. Yes, 0 is lesser than 6. It come here and increment the value of I with 1. Now it checked that I is equal to 3. Now the value of I is 2. So is 2 is equal to 3? No. So this condition is not satisfied and it print the value with I. 2. Okay. Now again the while loop is start proceeding to the next iteration. Now is 2 is lesser than or lesser than to 6? Yes, the 2 is lesser than 6. So now the I is incremented with value 1. Now the value of I is 3. Here it checks for the value I. If I is equal to 3, yes, the 3 is equal to 3. So it skipped the current iteration with the statement called continue. Now it executes the statement continue. So it skips the statement below the continue statement. Actually, it's supposed to print a value of 3, but in an output the 3 is not printed, which means the print statement is skipped due to the statement continue. Okay, next the while loop proceed with the next iteration. Now the value is 3. The 3 is lesser than 6. Yes, of course, 3 is lesser than 6. Now the I is incremented with an 1. Now the value is 4. Now again it checks that if I is equal to 3. Now the value of I is 4. So this condition is not satisfied. So it continues with printing the value of I, 4. Likewise, it continues the next iteration up to 6. This is an example of continue statement. Else statement. The usage of else statement in while. The usage of else statement in while, which means it runs a block of code once the condition is no longer true. For an example, this is an example to show the else statement in the while. See here, the while loop is get executed till the I is less than 103. Whenever the I reaches 103, it comes to the else part and prints the statement. Let's see the code output. Now the I is assigned with a value 100, and while in a while statement the condition is I is lesser than 103. Yes, the 100 is lesser than 103, so it proceeds with printing the value of I. Printing the value of I. Here the value is 100, and once again it will check the condition is 101 is lesser than 103. Yes, so it prints the value 101 and increments the value of I. Now the value is 102. Yes, now 102 is lesser than 103, so it prints the value of I, and again now it increments the value of I. Now the value of I is 103. Now the while loop checks the condition that is 103 is lesser than 103. Here the output is false. The 103 is not lesser than 103, so it executes the else. Here it prints with the statement the end of while block. Here the end of while block is get printed. Okay. The another data type under control statement is for loop. The for loop is used for iterating over a sequence, that is either in a list or a tuple or a dictionary or in a string or in a set. Okay, let me see more examples on loop. For loop. Yes, this is an example for declaring a for loop. Here I am declaring an array with a name of fruits equal to apple, banana and cherry. This is the syntax for statement. For this is a variable and in. It checks whether the values, it gets the values in the fruit. The fruits is an array or list. In this, it checks for each and every item. Okay, for fruits in. Okay, let me run the code for statement. The output is processed. Here the for statement is executes to read all the items in the list. Example, it reads as banana, apple, banana and cherry. Likewise, we can loop through a string. Here is an example for loop through a string. Here for a string banana, it loops each and every string value. Here for banana, for each and every value, it loops. For a first iteration, it reads a value of B. In second, it reads a value of A and N and A and A, N and A. Likewise, it looping to the string. Okay. Then let's see about a break statement in a for loop. As like in while, in for loop also we can use a break statement. Here is an example. Whenever the for loop reads a fruit value like banana, it breaks the for loop. Let's see how it runs. See, first it reads the value of the item called apple. The apple is not equal to banana, so the condition is not match. And again the for loop reads the another item called banana. The banana is gets stored in fruit. Here the fruit is equal to banana. Yes, the banana is equal to banana, so the if statement is match. So it executes the break statement. Whenever the break statement is executed, it terminates from the loop. Yes, it terminates from the loop and continue statement. This is same as in while statement, in while loop. Let's see. Here I am having a fruit list of avocado, blueberries, blackberry and orange. Whenever the fruit is matches with blackberry, it skips and start proceeding with the next iteration. Let's run this example. Yes, with this, the fruit avocado is get processed, blueberry is get processed and blackberry is get skipped, because in the iteration what we did is If the fruit is equal to blackberry, we ask the code to skip the iteration, which means continue. By using the continue, Git skips the current iteration and then it processes the next fruit, orange. And another one is else in for loop. This one is also a same as in while. Whenever this block is get completed, it execute with else. Here I run the code. Here what happened on this, the name fruits is not defined. Okay, here fruits is not defined, so I have enabled this fruit and then run again. Yes, it prints all the items in the fruits: avocado, blueberries, blackberry, orange. Once it read all the fruits, this block is get terminated with an else condition. Under else, what we did is finally finished. Yes. Okay. Next is function. The function is a block of code or subroutine which only runs when it is called. We can pass the data called parameter into the function, which can return a data as a result. Defining the function can be defined using def keyword. Let's see an example of functions. Okay. This is the example to declare a function. Here I am declaring a function with a keyword def. This is the name of the function, my function. Under this, what I did is printing a string. Here I am printing hello from Tamil Praveen. Let me run this code. Okay. Here what I did is only declaring a function. Here the function is successfully declared, but it is not called. Only whenever call the function, it do this operation. Okay, here we call the function. Here we are calling a function. Okay, and run the code. Yes. Here my function is get called. Whenever the my function is get called, it always do a task to print the string. I will call once again. What happened? Let's see what happened. My function, I will call again. Now the same subroutine or same function is called twice, which means I ask you to print the string 2 times. Let's see. Here it calls 2 times. Hello from Tamil Praveen, hello from Tamil Praveen. Yes. This is the usage of function. Let's see next how the argument is get used in the function, which means passing a parameter. Here I am declaring another function called fun1, function 1, with passing a parameter called function name. Whenever I call a function, here we need to pass a parameter in a function. Let's see an example. Here I am calling a function called fun1 with passing a value. Here I am passing a string value. They are passing a value Praveen. Let's see what happens if we run the code. See, what happened is, here I am passing a value called Praveen in a string. It get the string value and get printed. Here I am printing a name with the value passed from the function. Likewise, I am calling another function with a different string value called Tamil. What happens? Let's see. Here it prints with a name Tamil. Okay. Then let's see the example of default parameter value. The default parameter value is whenever before that, what happens? Let's see what happens if we not passing a parameter to this function. Let's see. Here I am calling a function 1 without passing any parameter. Let's see what happens. Here it shows an error, which means with this type of declaration we need to pass a parameter. To avoid this, we can use with option called default parameter. When we use this with default parameter, if whenever we not pass the values to the function, it prints with it uses with the default values. Here is an example. Here I am declaring another function called function2 with a default parameter. Here I am using a parameter, a country as a parameter. For this I am assigning a default value India as India. Now whenever I call this function 2 without any parameter, then it execute with the default value. Let's see what happens. Now function 2 is called without no parameter is get passed. With this condition, this function takes the default value. Let's see here, this is the print message, I am from India. It prints the value, the default value. If I enable or if I pass with a new parameter or with a parameter, this one will override the default value. Here it override the default value India with America. Let's see how the output is come. Let's see, for this function it comes with output I am from India, sorry, I am from America, which means it override the default value. Okay. The another usage is the passing a list to an argument. Here we pass with a string data type. Likewise, we can pass the integer data type or string data type or a complex data type. Here is an example to show passing as a list as a parameter. Here I am declaring another function called fun2 with a parameter called food. Here the food is a list type. Here I am declaring a list, foods equal to dosa, idli, chapati. Whenever I call this function with passing this list, it prints all those items presented in the variable. Let's see what happens if we run the code. Here I run the code. Here the list is filled with dosa, idli and chapati. Here I pass this list to the function 3. It prints the values in the list. Dosa, idli, chapati. Okay. With functions, we can also return a value. Let's see an example how to return a value. Okay, this is an example. Here I have defined a function called addition. Here I'm getting two parameters like a and b. With this function I am returning a value of by adding these two variables. Here I am adding a and b and returning the output as a result. Let's see what happens if we call this method. Here I am calling an addition with an input parameter 3 and 5. Whenever I pass a value 3 and 5, what happens is this method or this function will add my two inputs 3 and 5 and returns the results in the return keyword. Let's see the output of the code. Here it returns the value as 8 because here we did a addition operation, which means 5 plus 3 equal to 8. Likewise, if I call with different values like 3 plus 15, the output will be 18. Suppose if I do a subtraction or multiplication operation, it will multiply the two outputs and results are replicated with the return value. This is the output. Okay. And then lambda. The lambda is like a function which can take one or many number of arguments, but here it have only one expression. Let's see an example. This is a syntax. The lambda, the arguments and expression. Here I am declaring a lambda function with a keyword lambda a. What happens is here the a is an input, which means an argument. Here it receives an argument a and do some operation. This is an expression. This is an expression. Here what I did is a plus 10. Whatever the value we received is get added with the value 10 and returns the value. This is same as function, but in function we can use multiple expression, but in lambda we can use only one expression. This is an example. Here I am calling this function lambda function with passing a value 5. Here in a parameter I passing a value 5. Whenever I call this function, what happens is the 5 is get added with 10 and results and returns the value in this function. Here is the output. What happens is here the 5 is added with 10 and return the results to the function. This is the output. Next one is input. The input is a function which is used to take the input from the user. Whenever the input function is called, it receives the input from the Python console, which means the user has to feed the inputs. It always converts the inputs into a string. Even if we entered a string, integer value, it always converts into a string. Let's see a more example on inputs. Here is an input. Here I declaring a input. Here string equal to input, enter your name. Here I am getting the name from the user. Let me run this code. What happens is the input, this prints the enter your name. In this console, I enter my name, and then it my name is scanned from the input method and stores in a string. Now the string is printed here. My name, the same what we feed in the console, is printed here. Likewise, if we want to get an integer data type, what we need to do is we need to do a type conversion. We need to convert a string data type into a integer data type. Here the input get the values from the console with string data type. Here I am converting the string data type using a int type conversion method. Now the value is get converted to string and printed to the console. Let's see what happens. I run the code. Here it asks for enter some integer value. Here I enter an integer value called 10, and it outputs the value 10. Suppose what happens if I enter a string value? See, it shows an error because the Praveen is a string, so it's not able to process it. Okay. And then exercise program. Okay. This is an exercise program for the user, for the viewers. Here you can write on sample example with the concept what he have learned so far. Here the exercise is to write a program to do a basic calculator. This program has to get a value from the user and perform the following. The program or the code has to do an addition, subtraction, and multiplication and division operation. You can do it your own with whatever the concept we learned so far. Thank you. Thanks for watching.